How you doing? Rank up your Heimdall immediately. Best buff of MCOC? Question mark. So I don't think he will be the best buff in MCOC. I think he's going to be the second best buff in MCOC next to Mr. Sinister. I think Heimdall is pretty much like a cosmic version of Mr. Sinister. That's how good his buff is. But the thing about Heimdall is his why he's important in the game currently is it because it's because of his synergy. Okay, his ability to become indestructible and unstoppable for 2 seconds. So that is so valuable in questing, in incursions, in Necropolis. So that's just like I always use Heimdall pretty much anywhere I can, from my pay to win account, my free to play account, my new account. You will see Heimdall is in my team if I could put him, if I have him. So really his synergy is like, I could make an argument his synergy alone what makes Heimdall the most important champion in the game. The fact that he's going to get buff and his buff is actually going to be good. It's going to be pretty crazy, I think. So let's take a look. And also, I'm actually going to, and also you want to sync him up as much as possible. And I would say just do it now. Don't even wait. Do it now, like what I'm about to do. Okay, this guy, you really want him to be at max sick, and we're gonna talk about his signature ability later today. So put as many six as you can on him. Okay, so 107. Also, just keep in mind in the store, if you're valiant, so keep in mind you do have to be valiant. Battlegrounds, it's going to be only 100. You could buy these if you're not valiant, but I believe it's going to cost a lot more. So I need to wait till tomorrow, but I should have them 6200 by Monday, which is tomorrow. So I cannot wait for this guy to get buff. I usually don't like what do you call this? Wait until they force me to rank up champions, but now I'm like I want to rank him up as soon as possible. Okay, I'm like, as you can see, I'm investing like pretty much almost all my 6 stones. If I cannot get him to 6200 by tomorrow, I will have to use these plus 5% stake stones. Okay, so that's how valuable his signature ability is, which we're gonna talk about later. Like I mentioned, I'm waiting for tomorrow because I already maxed out in my, what do you call this, on my daily super events. So I'm gonna wait tomorrow since I don't have much time to play to rank him up. So let's talk about Heimdall's abilities. This pretty much summarizes when it comes to Heimdall's buff, how he's gonna look like, and we're gonna take a look at it more in details. Okay, so so I think a lot of people are worried about the Heimdall synergy. Like, is it gonna be nerfed, removed, and it's gonna stay the same? So don't worry about it. If you're worried about would I still be able to use the synergy? Yes, you can. It's the same thing. Hopefully, at least that's what Kabam says, anyways. So when it comes to his damage, it's a 5. Okay, but if if you're talking about battlegrounds, his damage is not a 5. I expect him to hit like Groot, to be honest, when it comes to battlegrounds. Maybe a little bit harder, but not that much harder than Groot when it comes to battlegrounds. Okay, personally, just being honest, being direct here, I don't really care if his damage is good when it comes to battlegrounds. He could be more of a annoying defender for battlegrounds. I don't expect him to be a hard counter for Alliance War, but I do expect him to be used a lot in Alliance War because not only he gives you that indestructibility for your synergy partner, but he's like he could be a good champion since he does require a ramp up. He is a ramp up champion, so he's going to be good for incursions, best game mode in MCOC, of course, Necropolis, any questing that you do. He's gonna be good because he does require to ramp up. Okay, ease of use is 4 out of 5, which is really nice. So he does have a lot of text onto his a lot of things to talk about when it comes to his abilities, but in a good way. And it's easy to understand. Okay, it's not very difficult to understand when it comes to his abilities. Okay, so Heimdall has a 60% chance, resistance to poison and incinerate effects. Okay, so you can also make him a herald since he is cosmic. So as a herald, he can be plus 35% resistant to poison and incinerate. And really, that would make him 95% resistant to poison and incinerate. That almost makes him poison immune and incinerate immune. So he's gonna be counter for a lot of matches where the opponent or the node that inflicts poison. But the best part really is while suffering from a poison or incinerate effect from a champion, Heimdall pauses all personal buffs. All personal buffs. I couldn't believe when I read that. Like, this guy's gonna get nerfed or what? What the heck is going on? So he's just gonna cheese so many champions. Keep in mind, you just can't run Liquid Courage and expect to be for his buffs to be fast the whole time. It has to come from a champion. So like Biohazard, that's not gonna pause his personal buffs. It has to be coming from a champion like Abomination. Immortal Abomination, especially where he inflicts a poison that lasts for a very long time. So your buffs are going to be paused. But keep in mind, really why you want him awakened at max sig, he becomes immune to Fate Seal. Not only that, just at his awakened ability, at max sig, he becomes indestructible for 5 seconds. Okay? But if you have a poison on you from like an opponent, coming from an opponent, it's going to be paused. So it doesn't really make sense because you cannot get knocked out because your indestructibility will be paused the whole time. So I don't really know that that's the way it's supposed to be, but that's the way it looks like by the wording. So it really doesn't make sense. That seems broken to me, to be honest. Like, what the heck, right? So when it comes to True Sight, activating special attack grants Heimdall an infinite True Strike buff. Okay, so he always had this ability. So your opponents cannot dex. What else? Heimdall can parry non-contact attack like Professor X. Havoc. He can be able to once he has the True Strike buff on him. And like this is the part where he's going to be annoying as a defender. So basically, I'm not gonna go over the math, but as a defender, he has a 75% up to 75% chance to get auto block from your light and medium attack. So this is like Medusa level, but on steroids on defense. But on offense, it's pretty much working like Medusa ability. Like if you ever face Medusa, how he has a chance to auto block, that is pretty much the same idea. Okay, but on defense, it's pretty much 3 times most likely, a 75% chance that your opponent will Heimdall will auto block you as a defender from light and medium attacks. So you're gonna pretty much have to be throwing a lot of heavy attacks. Like who's a goat? Like somebody that can counter him. Somebody who's like completely balanced. Wink, wink, Mr. Sinister. Completely balanced. Wink, wink. So, yeah. So, keep in mind, if you are, I just don't even believe this is true. Okay, so it says right there, from the first paragraph, while suffering from a poison or incendiary effect from a champion, Heimdall pauses all personal buffs. That's including all that, and it comes to his special 2, he gains what do you call this, an unblockable buff. Okay, so that's going to be paused. That is crazy. Okay, and when it comes to resonance buff, that's really valuable, but it's unfortunately I thought it would be permanent, but it's not. But it does make sense why it's not permanent. So it's really mostly for your special 2s, but it is for 12 seconds. But it's going to be paused if you have a poison on you or something like that. So it's just from the opponent. So it's just crazy. So you're pretty much going to do special 2 to special 1 with this guy, because especially incursion, you could do special 2 and special 1 back to back, because and he gains stun immune, and then when he has an armor up, he's going to be unstoppable. So he's practically Juggernaut with his special 1 attack. Okay, not only that, he's stun immune if you have an armor up effect on you. So it doesn't have to be a buff. It could be a passive armor up, I believe. So that is pretty crazy when it comes to his abilities. Let me just show you how Special 2 works when it comes to his resonance buff. So pretty much like it's fairly easy. Like even the first fight, if you have 3 Odin free fights on you, like if you're in Alliance War or questing, like you can gain an extra 30% a damage from your attack from resonance buff if you have 3 resonance buff on you from like the Odin free fight. So let me just show you how it works. So basically the 110,000 damage, that's your damage. This is a Special 2. So the 83,000, which is looks like about 70% of the damage of the 110,000 damage, that is the resonance buff, and he can gain up to 100% of that. So basically at 100%, so that yellow number of 110,911, that's going to be the red damage as well. That's also going to be 110,911. And it's going to be pretty simple when it comes to incursion when you have buff cornucopia as well. So even from the get-go, like the first fight, you have buff cornucopia with 3 Odin free fights. You could have double your damage from the resonance buff from his Special 2. So it is pretty crazy. Special Attack 3, Heimdall converts all personal buffs into passives, with 50% increased base duration and 25% increased base potency. So when it comes to the Special Attack 3, that is more useful for like what do you call this, Necropolis, as you can see here by what developer note said. So basically what Kabam said, like you really want to use your Special 3 against Necropolis. This guy, I mean, he's designed for long fights, incursions, Necropolis, like where you can ramp him up. So I could see this guy being very valuable for the next Necropolis. I think they designed this guy to be the next for Necropolis 2.0. I think he's like a better version of Sentry. He's like Sentry 2.0, almost a better version of Sentry in almost every possible way. Basically, he's like a mutant version of Mr. Sinister, I say, or in a way, but he's probably more likely a better version of Sentry, I say. So another thing too is, let me look. Something else too is he is a ramp up champion. So this is pretty much what you want to do. Charging a heavy attack converts 1 Veneer buff. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. With a duration into an indefinite copy with the same base potency, max stack 5 per buff. So I believe I was kind of confused at first when I was reading this, like because it thought you can gain 50 and then be able to bring it to the next fight for each buff, like fury buffs and all that. I'm like, no way, that would just be broken. Right? But it looks like from this, the way it's wording, like what do you call this, when converting an indefinite buff, Heimdall gains an indefinite crossfight of that buff, max stack 10. So basically for each buff you have a max stack 10 you can bring to the next fight, and then for each fight you can max out for 20. But I'm assuming, if I'm reading this right, you can max out for 20 for each buff that you have. So what kind of buff does he have? So it's called Veneer buffs. So he gains, basically you do these things. You do use a light attack, he's gonna get a precision buff. To keep it simple, you do a light attack, he's gonna get a precision buff. You end with a medium attack, I believe, or hit a medium attack, you gain a fury buff. Blocking a hit or being struck against grants a 250 armor up buff. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you can gain 20 of each buff. Let's talk about the most important one. Hitting the opponent under block with a medium attack grants a 725.7 fury buff. This is almost 20%, if not 20% of his base attack, just from one fury buff, and he can gain 20 of them. Okay, so 20 times 20, if my math is correct, is 400%. So basically you could add, his damage could be an extra 4 times more stronger once you have 20 fury buffs on him from his base attack. Okay, and not mention he gains plus 250 precision buff, okay, which can stack up to 20, I believe. to bring to the next fight. So that's plus 5,000 extra critical rating. That's why his damage is a 5. Okay, that means he's a high chance of critting. Probably around 80% of his attacks would be 80%. So when you think about the in the long run, like, it's definitely gonna be more than 4 times more damage once you have 20 uh fury buffs and 20 precision buff on them, because you're gonna have this increased amount of attack and then plus a better chance of critting for each hit. Not only that, you could have plus 5,000 armor up buff you can bring to the next fight. So this guy is going to be good once he's max ramp. Okay, something else that I forgot to mention to you is when it comes to, what is this part right here. When it comes to the middle part, he has 100% increased ability accuracy. So a lot of mystic champions like neutralized, like weaken, I believe Nico or Munuro, he's gonna be pretty much immune to neutralize. Okay, so that is pretty crazy to have that ability. So he's gonna counter some mystic champions as well, and mystic champions, as you know, could be a problem for cosmic champions. So this is why I was confused, because it says here max stack 50 precision, fury, and armor up passive each. So what the heck, that doesn't make sense. That's crazy. That's insane amount of damage. Personally, I don't think you're ever gonna reach that ceiling. This could depend, obviously, what rank is your Heimdall, but I don't even think you could reach that ceiling with 8 million health pool. Maybe in the Necropolis 2.0, you have a 6-star rank 5 ascended Heimdall, and you want to take them up to Necropolis 2.0 where their health is like 15 million, maybe 20 million health. This, you could possibly get to 50 precision or 50 furies, okay? But he's gonna hit like a truck. He would be, I wouldn't even argue, broken with 50 precisions and 50 fury. Imagine how hard he's going to be hit, plus 100% resonate. So that pretty much gonna double your damage as well. That will get, yeah, resonance buff. Let me see, where's it at? This will bypass damage cap like Necropolis, Abyss, and Labyrinth of Legends, okay, when it comes to his resonance buff, because that's pretty much like Hercules' ability, where it bypasses damage cap when it comes to the red damage. So this guy with this ability, 50 precision, fury, and armor up buff, that is crazy. I doubt you're ever gonna reach that 50 furies situation, maybe, but in very long fights, okay? But I don't think this is the situation where you can bring it to the next fight. That would just be broken, I think. So I believe the max you can bring for the next fight is 20 from each buff. So you can have 20 furies, 20 precisions, and 20 armor ups for the next fight. So really, I'm really excited for Heimdall. I think his buff is gonna be great. If I can one champion to rank as a rank 5 as a 7-star, it would be Heimdall, and I would have him sig 200 instantly. That's how valuable this guy is. He's gonna change. His buff just increases stock by more than double. I would even say triple his stock when it comes to this buff. One of the best buff in MCOC without a doubt. You definitely want to rank him up. Thank you.